Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another video game review. So, if you remember from, I believe, last week, we reviewed Bakugan Battle Brawlers for the Wii. But, it wasn't the only Bakugan game they released for the Wii, and thus, it wasn't the only one I played. So, let's take a look at that other, or arguably, possibly cooler Bakugan game that they released for the Wii. I'm talking about Bakugan on Defenders of the Core. So, as always, I'm not professional video game reviewer, video game analyst, or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, which I definitely had going back with this game. This game is definitely a very different switch up as opposed to the previous game that we looked at. This one, I played just as much, maybe a little bit more. This one I didn't get for Christmas or anything. And my dad literally got it for me because we were out and about and I saw it and I wanted it. Oh, there was that. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get right into it. So, those of you who have seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. For those of you who haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and what I disliked about the game. So, starting with what I liked, like I mentioned, a complete overhaul, very different style of gameplay as opposed to the previous game. So, this time around is more of a 3D fighter. So, you have a big open area, and you're able to essentially fight using your Bakugan, and with pretty much like a 3D fighting game. I'm trying to think of one I can compare it to. But yeah, so you're able to utilize your Bakugan, take them into the arena, and battle it out. This time around, Defenders of the Core is based off New Vestroia, which I argue is the best Bakugan season, and yes, that's a hill I'm willing to die on. So, because of that, your main enemies this time around are the Vexos, and in the plot, the Vexos are attempting to steal the Earth's energy, the Earth's core, named Abyss. But it's not quite your Earth. So, you're battling with Dan and everything, but then, because of an accident, you're transported. They say an alternate world, but considering how everything is pretty much like almost the same as yours, except different in some regards, or yeah, it's more of like an alternate dimension, perhaps, but it's a completely alternate world. You're brought over to it, and you have to stop the Vexos. The other brawlers can't brawl because the Vexos crystals and their power have taken away the ability to brawl. How they're able to do that, I have no idea, but they did. And so, you collect the Resistance Bakugan and you use them to battle the Vexos, as well as obviously the regular battle brawlers Bakugan as well. So, another reason why this is one of my favorites is because this has some of my favorite partner Bakugan. So, Dan, of course, has Drago / Dragonoid as always. Marujo has Elfin. I should say Shun has Ingram. Then you have the three Resistance members, which are Mira, Ace, and Baron. Mira has Wilda, Ace has Percival, and Baron has Nemesis. So you're able to fight with them, take control with them, and battle it out. And eventually you unlock Max's Dragonoid. And I know I'm kind of flying through the story and everything, but yeah. So eventually you unlock Max's Dragonoid and you use it to combat Max's Helios, who is trying to, who along with Spectra is trying to siphon the Earth's core, but eventually you stop him for good, and also throughout the game you can build hologram towers. So essentially, how it works is you take out the Vexos who are utilizing Trap Bakugan. Unfortunately, you're not able to play as the Trap Bakugan, and you're only able to play as like the regular Bakugan, and even not always the regular / core Bakugan. There is one that you're not able to play as, but essentially you fight the traps, you destroy the Vexos crystals, and just like the previous game, not only are the attributes back, but they have similar properties, but not quite the same. They still have weaknesses, but with this one, there's like defined strengths and weaknesses against each attribute. So Pyrus is strong against Darkus and weak against Aquas. Aquas is strong against Pyrus but weak against Ventus. Subterra is weak. Ventus, I should say, is strong against Aquas, weak against Subterra. Subterra is strong against Ventus, weak against Chaos. Chaos strong against Subterra, weak against Darkus, and Darkus is strong against Chaos and weak against Pyrus. So very more defined, not quite like the previous game where, or like the opposite attribute. Like if you were a Chaos in the Dark arena, you're at a disadvantage. Well, if you were Darkest in the Chaos arena, you're at a disadvantage. So, a bit more defined and a bit more specific, if that makes any sense, when it comes to the weaknesses. Yes, so you stop Helios, and then after that, you have kind of new game plus mode. You can go through the story of the game again. This time you have the Vexos Bakugan with you, so you have Volt's Brontes, you have Link's Altair. You don't have Wired, like Link also has, but you do have Altair. You have Shadow's Hydra. You have Myleen's Elikos, you have Gus's Vulcan, and then you obviously have Spectra's Helios. And this time around, on the different crates or boxes that you're able to find, in the story mode previous, that get you stuff like different ability cards, which you're able to use. Whose they don't grant you G power this time around, but they grant you a different attack or like a shield. But this time around, those little boxes have parts to create Max's Helios, and once you collect them all, Max's Helios will be playable. So a nice little reward to go back through the game, which is definitely a nice contrast to what they did previously with the first Battle Brawlers game, where there's almost not really a reason to go back into it other than to finish collecting the Bakugan and to collect all the cards and pretty much increase your rank. No, this time around there's a bit more of a reward, if that makes any sense. But you're able to do that, and I started that, so I'll probably finish that at some point. I actually started by accident, but yeah, so you're able to do that, and yeah, so very very different now, and with the hats, the Bakugan this time around feel a bit more, or they feel a bit less cosmetic, because that was the problem with the first game, is that the Bakugan really felt more like cosmetics and less distinct. But this time around they're very distinct. They have different styles, they have different ability cards and abilities, and they just have different feels to them, which is nice. Now, in terms of what I didn't really like about the game, and I forgot to mention this with the first Bakugan game, but I'll mention it here because the problem persists, and I know this is more of like an issue for the Wii, but the graphics do look a little rough around the edges. They do look very at times. And obviously this was 2010, but this was like the Wii, which at this point was considered last gen. Like on the PS3 and Xbox 360, which at the times is which at the time was like next gen. These looked much better, but on the Wii they don't look the best. But that's okay. The other thing is, pretty similar to the first Bakugan Battle Brawlers game on the Wii. This game is also very short. You are able to travel to different countries and everything, which is nice. You start off in Japan, and then you travel to the UK, you travel to China, then you travel to Egypt, then you travel to USA. Where in the USA, or really where in any of these places, they don't really get specific, but then you get to the Vexos base, and then you get to the Earth's core, which that seems like quite a bit, right? But but by exploring around, because you're able to walk around and explore, or which is why I was talking about like collecting and stuff. But walking around and exploring doesn't take that long, especially with me because I played this game before, so I kind of knew where to go. But otherwise, it has like the map and different tools and stuff. You are able to unlock different tools such as like the ability to see hidden objects and the ability to even go invisible for a short time with a stealth tool. But otherwise, like, yeah, the game is relatively short. You can beat it in about a day, even probably just like a few hours or so. So you can beat the game and everything, and that's with or without skipping through the cutscenes. But yeah, so the game you can pretty much fly through. The only reason I didn't is because I want to take it about a level or so at a time. And the other thing is that at the story mode of this game, in which right off the bat, let's address the elephant in the room: the voice acting. The voice acting is fine, I guess, but it's kind of weird how nobody from the previous game comes over to this game to voice their characters. So none of the Battle Brawlers characters voice themselves in this game. In the previous Bakugan game, we had the voice actors from the actual show voicing the characters, which definitely gave it more of that like realistic feel. Like, wow, I'm really part of the Battle Brawlers. But here, we don't get that. And the first time I heard this, like when I was younger playing this game, I was stunned. I was like, who the heck are these people? That's not Dan. That's not Shun. And there are like maybe one or two of them that sound kind of close, like Spectra, but otherwise, like it is jarring the first time you hear it. Like, especially going from the previous game where the actual like I mentioned, the actual voice actors were there, to going over to this game, it's like, that's not right. But nevertheless, yes. You got new voice actors here, and new voice actors for your character as well. Oh, and this story isn't really a direct sequel to the first Battle Brawlers game, but I feel like it could have been. And like having like being able to play as the Battle Brawlers and the Resistance Bakugan is pretty cool, but sadly, almost no mention of the events of the first game, even though it may or may not be the same player. So I guess that means it's not the same player, but it would have been nice if they like played off that a little bit, or like if the previous partner Bakugan, like Tigrera or Skyrus, were in the game. Even that's just like DLC or something, because this is 2010, this DLC was around at the time. Or if Leonidas, a lot of people wanted Leonidas in this game. I think that would have been pretty cool. Something else, and this isn't really going to be a knock of the game, but something else I think would have been cool is if the Vexo story was like a true different story. Like go all out with partnering with the Vexos Bakugan, make a full Vexo story, one where they conquer the Battle Brawlers and actually succeed in their mission. Go full on Sonic Adventure 1 / Sonic Adventure 2 / Sonic Heroes / Sonic Riders / Sonic Riders Zero Gravity / Sonic Free Riders # Team Sonic Racing. I think I got all of them, but it would have been nice if they went full on with that. But that's more just like a suggestion. That's not really a knock against the game, just something I probably would have liked to see. But that is going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video, so you see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the game and my review. Did you like to select the game? Did you like to select my review of the game? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.